Today I'm going to show you how to deploy your apps to Dome using GitLab pipelines. I'm going to be using Docker and GitLab Container Registry today to create my pipeline. So the first thing we have to do to get set up is to build our application and push a Docker image to the GitLab Container Registry, which I've already done here. You can see we have a image called Docker POC, and this is what we're going to be deploying to Dome today. So now that I have my image, I'm going to go over to the Dome platform and create my service. I need to give my service a name. If you can't think of one, you can click on this button on the right and it'll give you a random name. Let's go with acidic apartment. Great. So I'm also going to give it a domain name as well that I own so that I can add a CNAME record to later, and I have my domain point to my app on Dome. So let's just put example.com. I'm going to pick a deploy region here. I'm going to say Docker image, great. I don't have any environment variables today for this app, but if you needed to, you can include them at this step here. I am going to add a port though, so this particular app listens on port 3001, and we're going to map that to 443 externally, which is the port for TLS. This app also doesn't need any volumes, but if you do, this is the area where you would add your volumes. Okay, so now I have to allocate resources for my app. So by default, all apps deployed to Dome are auto-scaled. So we can use these sliders here to set upper and lower bounds on the resources. You can also choose to deploy multiple instances of your app if you want to using horizontal scaling. But since this is just a demo today, let's just kind of keep things simple and kind of move things down this way. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Launch Service. Okay, great. So now my service is ready to go on Dome. I'm going to click on Generate New Registry Credentials, which will give us what we need to write our GitLab pipeline and ultimately push our Docker image to Dome. So let's click on that. Okay, great. So now that I have my image and service created, I'm going to go back to GitLab and we're going to go over to Build and we're going to go to Pipeline Editor. Okay, cool. So this is my GitLab CI YAML file, and this is where we'll be writing the script to push our image to Dome, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to authenticate into the current GitLab container registry, which our Docker POC image sits, which I'm doing here on lines 33 and 34. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tag the Docker image that's currently sitting in the GitLab container registry, and we're going to tag it correctly so that Dome can pick it up on our end. So we're going to go back to the Dome platform, and we're going to go ahead and grab the tag, which is in step 2. So we'll go ahead and copy that. And then we'll come back over here to line 35. So I'm adding a tag to this Docker POC image. So let's just get rid of the one that was in here already. Okay, great. So while I have that copy pasted, I'm also just going to put it down here on the last step, which is the Docker push, which is the ultimate step that will actually get us pushed to the Dome platform. So the last thing I need to do is I need to give our pipeline access to the Dome image registry, right? So we're going to go back to the Dome platform and we're going to click on copy credentials, and this will copy the Dome image registry credentials to the clipboard. Okay, so let's go back to GitLab now, and let's just copy paste this in here so that we can see it. Okay, great. So there's a Docker login step that I have on line 39, so we're just going to go ahead and copy paste the credentials that I received into the right fields. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, great. All right, now we can get rid of these 2 lines. Okay, great. So now it looks like we're all set. Just to review, on line 33, we authenticate with the GitLab container registry. On line 34, we pull the latest tag from the GitLab container registry. On line 35, we tag it. We tag the image with the correct tag that'll identify our service within Dome. On line 36, we authenticate with the internal registry at Dome. And then on line 37, we finally push the image. So it looks like this is great. Again, it's just about maybe 4 or 5 steps. And at this point, we're ready to go. So it looks like our pipeline is ready to be committed. So let's go ahead and commit the changes. Okay, great. So now let's go back to the pipeline list. And we'll see our new pipeline is now running, which is great. So this is the deploy job that we just wrote. Let's just give it a few more seconds here. Okay, great. So it looks like our pipeline is finished. So let's go back to Dome to see if the image was pushed. So we'll go back to the Dome platform. And then at the bottom here, we have this check status button. So you can just go ahead and click on this and it'll check to see if an image was received. And look, there it is. It was received 1 minute ago, which is great. That's what we want to see. So let's get rid of this and then we'll refresh the page. All right, and it looks like our app was successfully deployed. We can click on the link on the right, and here it is. That's that Docker POC image that we had in GitLab, now fully running on the Dome platform. By default, all apps are assigned a dome.tools domain, which you can CNAME to any domain, like I mentioned earlier. And now all we have to do on the GitLab side is to just run this pipeline again for any redeploys or code changes or anything like that, and the new image will be automatically deployed to Dome. So that's pretty much it. Check us out at trydome.io for more. Thanks.